Hello. Happy Friday. Want to make sure I don't have lipstick on my teeth. Sometimes when I'm looking in the phone, I'm like, oh, is there something on my teeth? I'm good. Thank God I'm good. Okay, so I'm actually sitting in the parking lot at the orthodontist office. Colin Bear is getting braces, but that's the whole process prior, spacers, all that stuff. So, it's going to be a little bit of time that he's in there. He's getting an appliance in today. This appliance is going to kind of widen the mouth and get everything set up, So, here's the deal for today. I wanted to share some goodness with you. I think a lot of us get caught up in this, and you don't realize that what you're doing is you're trying to look at my nail. My nail needs to be done. Actually, a couple nails fell off, which is kind of annoying. You're seeking for this unrealistic expectations. So therefore, you are, from the get, you're setting yourself up for failure, because what happens is you have that mindset. You know how you've heard me talk about the wagon? There should be no wagon. People have this thing that they're either on or off. I'm all in or I'm out. This is what I always say to my clients. You're on or off, in or out. It's that whole dieter's mindset that I try so hard to get them to break up that relationship with that thinking, because that whole on, off, in, out, all of that, and just like I had shared with them, is that people, they find that a relatable conversation, trait, habit. So when somebody says I'm on the wagon or off the wagon, they find like, oh, you too, me too, right? That whole you too, me too thing. It's not necessarily a great thing to be. It's not necessarily a great thing to be in that community, I would leave that neighborhood alone, is what I'm trying to say. The bottom line is when people start a new habit or seek out a new vibration or betterness in their life, they think that if they make a mistake, that it's a bad thing, that it is like, that's it, I'm ruined, that's it, I screwed up. So then, it's a validation for, that I'm just going to go down that path of self-destruction and just kind of stay there until I feel like I want to go back around and get a dopamine high from making positive changes again. Are you following me here? There's kind of like that whole, ooh, I'm making a change, I'm going to feel the feel goods. You know what I'm saying? It's like people chase after that, and they don't realize that that's what they're doing. So your brain has a lot to do with a lot of what you're doing, your habits, your cycles, the relationships that you're in, all of that kind of stuff. So the bottom line is that I want you to know that being perfect is not something that you should be seeking out. You should be seeking out failure. I recently posted something that Will Smith, like a 2-minute video that he had shared. It was a live that he did, and it was brilliantly said. And he basically was talking about you fail to move forward. Okay, these are those things these processes that you need to go through to learn that you learn from your mistakes. Here's the thing. You learn from your lessons that are being presented to you. Now, if you're somebody that, there's always the, oh man, I just can't catch a break. Today it was a flat tire, and yesterday somebody, ended up hacking my accounts, and the other day, it's always something. It's always just something. Well, part of that problem is that that whole on, off, in or out, I'm out of the wagon, off the wagon. Part of the problem is that you're in like a lower vibration. when you're off that wagon, okay, because you're like kind of out of control, self-destruct mode, that kind of thing. So what's going to happen is you're going to pull in all that garbage, So if you're like in a higher version of yourself, higher vibration, all of that, you're going to pull in some really good stuff. You're going to open up positivity, and just amazing things will just start flowing your way, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like all these great things, one thing after another. It just keeps coming. Oh my gosh. Well, it's no coincidence. There's no coincidence there, okay? So you don't want to get off into a whole other like tangent or rant or anything like that, but what I am trying to tell you is that there's no such thing as perfection. And if that is something, maybe you don't realize that that's what you're doing. Where you think that everything has to be just so, it's got to be just right. And if I quote unquote screw up or do something bad, in other words, make a bad choice, okay, then you go off in this, like I'm a loser, I suck, and all that other self-language, that terrible self-language comes in. So, shooting for perfection and being perfect is not the goal. I always tell this to my clients. Being perfect is not our goal. What our goal is, I forgot I had my car on auto start, is to make the best possible choice that we can at every moment. And when you are faced with certain things, you have to stop and ask yourself this question. Is this going to benefit me in a positive way? Is this going to get me closer to where I want to be or further away? Is this going to close that gap, or is this going to make that gap even bigger? Am I being one of my mentors actually said this last week, and I was like, thought this was amazing. Are you a still person? Meaning that if you're still, it just means that you're standing still in the same place. You're doing the same shit, and you're not, you're making those choices to kind of like maintain like where you are. So, when you try to be perfect, you're always going to set yourself up in a place where it's like you're always going to feel defeated. You're always going to feel like you're sabotaging something. But if you shift that thinking from perfection and say, you know what, I'm just going to make the best possible choices that I possibly can given the situations that I am in, trust me, you will feel a whole heck of a lot better about what you're doing and how you're going about it. So at the end of the day, it really comes down to control and choices. Control and choices, okay? And your vibration, your control and your choices actually determine if you are on a high or a low vibration. When you are in a low vibration, again, you're going to be pulling in all of those things that seem like bad karma, okay? But it's really just at that bottom end of things, and that's where all that negativity lives, okay? Heavy, slow, dense, that sort of thing. When you are in a higher vibration, when you're eating like better, lighter, wholesome foods, you are going to be in a higher vibration. This might be too woo-woo for some of you, but hey, that's who I am. And if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. You can go on to the next video. But you want to be, you're light and feathery and, open and breezy. And, when you are in that sort of a vibration, that's when all those things start to come and you're just like, gosh, I don't know what I did, but I'm doing something right. What you're doing is your thoughts are great. Your clarity is there. You're eating well. You're in control. You're making great choices, and all that stuff comes along with it. So, thought I would pop on and just give you those words. Hopefully that will give you some insight, and maybe you might have an aha from that. Like, oh my gosh, I never even realized that. I know for me, for example, I try my very best to always make good choices. But, there's always times when I have my, my moments of, eating lower vibration foods or drinking lower vibration things. And I notice a difference. I notice a big difference in the next day or two as to, how I feel, how I'm operating, what types of things I'm pulling in, where my thoughts are, all of that. So it makes a huge difference. So, all right, you guys, have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Have a great and fantastic weekend. Please share this with anybody that you feel could use the message and words of encouragement. And, also check out my program if interested. I help you with not only your nutrition, but all this kind of stuff. So I do still have a couple openings for February. And the next round will be in March. So pretty soon I'll be opening up the floodgates to apply for the March scholarship. But if you want to just check out my program, just go to www.themetabolismrebootacademy.com. Okay? Have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.